Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Out of Combat, where we'll be discussing everything up to and including the third episode of Castles and Cantrips Campaign 2. I'm joined by Nina, as well as Virtual Spectre, and let's talk about this latest episode, y'all.
Let's. Pirate shenanigans.
Yeah, pirate shenanigans.
And flailing.
Yes, lots of poor rolls, but you know what? That's okay. What did you all think? I guess, what did your characters think about sort of learning more about Azric and Taj's past?
Well, for Hayden, it just confirmed his suspicions about them. Hayden's a sharp individual, so he saw them initially in Rosendin, and he's like, okay, these two characters got something suspicious going on. So he figured, okay, they're casting magics. They are probably some sort of criminals on the run. But that made him curious, so that's why he joined up with the whole gang. So it just confirmed that for Hayden. I think he is now confident. He nailed his assessment of them.
He's right on the money. What about Cooter?
I think for Cooter it's interesting because she's so wise and she's been around for so long, so she's seen all of these people come and go all the time. She knows this stuff. She knows who pirates are and what they do and everything that's going on. But when you're 214 years old, you take some things with a grain of salt and you're just trying to focus on your own stuff. So I think she's so introspective about her own things, and she cares so much about other people and their safety and things like that, that she's more just trying to protect them. Like, she knows what kind of life that is and how dangerous it is. And now that she's kind of thrown with these people and she sees them getting themselves into danger, her pull is to, if they can get her back to Rosendon, great, because that's what she needs to be doing. But at the same time, she doesn't want anyone to be hurt in the process. And when you see someone hurting themselves, you kind of have to wait until they want help.
So she's almost like acting in like a motherly role that she was forced into these shenanigans, but now she realizes is it more like oh shit, these people are lost if I leave them, they're not gonna know, they're not gonna find their way without me.
Yeah, kind of. It's like partly that, but also in a way that you don't, like the cool mom who they like to pretend they're a little bit gullible and they don't know things and they're all cool, but on the inside they're like, I know what all of you are doing, stop that.
Yeah.
I think out of everybody, Cooter is the biggest mystery for Hayden right now. He has no idea who this old turtle is, what she was doing prior to getting caught up, where she's from. He's already talked to Emmy. He knows the other two are pirates. Cooter is there, and he's like, I had no idea what to think of this.
Which is so interesting because I know things now that you don't know, which we will find out in future.
Okay.
Because I did hear some little nuggets today that I was like, oh, and I'm probably going to have to hit up our good old DM eventually to be like, did you also?
Yeah.
Because I would be interested to see, without you knowing potentially what I know.
About Hayden?
What happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Which I don't want to give away in Out of Combat just yet.
Sure.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Because it's only episode 3. We have so much more journeying to do,
It's so hard for me starting a brand new campaign after our last one was 80 episodes long. And it's I have so many things to give you, but I can't give them to you all at once. I just can't dump everything on you.
Yeah. Today was a lot of fun. We talked about this briefly right after the session ended, but a lot of good RP today, a lot of extended RP, which something that we've consciously been trying to work on. Because we like our characters and we like the other characters, and we want to try and explore who our characters are on screen with like our audience. So it was nice to have extended amounts of time where we could, you know, kind of grill each other a little bit about some things and try to squeeze out some information. And I think I definitely learned a little bit more than I had previously. So that was fun.
Also, Emmy, oh my God. She's so adorable, and we must protect her at all costs. I love that she just like came out of the gate like, I'm a pirate now. Yay.
Yeah, the campaign over.
It's
Yeah, she's
interesting because
won.
but we also like we probably know the most about her and yet still know nothing. Like we don't really know why she left. We don't really know who her father is. We don't really know, like, there's still so many things that she hasn't. Like, she's an open book, but she doesn't know what. Like she's an open book, but there are so many things there that we haven't like prodded out of her yet, as well.
Yeah, and at this point, due to like previous roles, like I know my character's like not really 100% believing like everything she said up to this point. Like,
and it's
seriously, a city underwater. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a fantastical story that no like logical person would take it with a grain of salt, right? Like, oh yeah, sure, you came from under the water, and you know this city that's underneath the ocean, sure.
Which makes it so much more interesting too, especially for someone like Kuda who has seen so much and knows so much. It's kind of like she could be like talking crap and lying out of her mouth, and that's why she's such an open book and just saying whatever the hell she feels like. But then also, if it is the truth, there is so much exciting stuff in there that like.
So Cooter is not aware. Cooter's not aware of the city either.
No, but but the thing is, she knows so much about the world that it's not like even if it's something she hasn't heard, it's not something she'll discount straight away and be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous."
Gotcha. Okay. So we had some serious combat today.
Oh yeah,
pretty tough. It was very tough.
Yeah. From the jump, not a great spot to be in. We were surrounded on all sides, and for like my character at the least, that's like a problem.
I was waiting to spare your life.
You were very close to having to use it. I'll say that you were down to like what, maybe 1 HP at some point.
I had 1 hit point after I got in, because when I tried to hide in the bush and it didn't work. I took a big hit from a critical, I think, initially.
Yeah,
and then took 2 more hits later on. And so my plan was, if combat was going to continue, get behind some cover, drop prone, and then like toss my sword to the side and just try to use my hand crossbow from cover and just go back prone at the end of turns, just to try and prolong like how long I was going to survive. But luckily, it ended.
Yeah, you were definitely in survival mode when that happened. And something I like to do is I like to try and make combat more dynamic with different things, like different objectives and things going on. Like what I hate, even as a player, is like you all stand here, and you duke it out. Like I never want to do that. But in this case, it didn't work out in your favor, because with them being bandits trying to steal from people, I mean they heard you coming, they made themselves ready, they made some pretty damn good stealth rolls and kind of put you all in a pickle pretty quickly whenever it went to violence. So
in between turns, I was just desperately like measuring things out to see how far I could run with like a dash, and I'm like, well, if I go here, then these guys can still see me. If I go here, then those guys can see me. I'm like, I'm stuck.
What's really funny is when you were just purely RPing with Cooter and like, I'm in my shell, I'm afraid, and like it worked great for you for the first round because you were like, I have like +4 AC.
Do you know what I forgot too? Was that I could have, because there was that one time where I was like, oh, I have a bonus action. Should I do anything? Oh, nah. And then I was like, oh, I could have gone back in my shell and then I wouldn't have taken that like 11 damage or something on like the second shot or whatever it was. And I totally forgot about it. That's just like a learning curve thing for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I made a similar mistake on the first round where I wasted my bonus action to disengage when, as a swashbuckler, as long as I make an attack against somebody, I get a free disengage and I don't have to use up a bonus action for it. And I wasted it because I forgot. But, you know, we're still so new to it. So
yeah. It's only
and then
episode 3.
I was just like, I'll RP it. She's still panicking. It's fine.
Yeah, most definitely.
I do like how you RP the combat with her. Like, if it's what she does hits, then it's like, yes, like got the damage. Did it? If not, it's because flipping out and I'm just
yeah. There has to be a reason, especially because it's always hard with her too because she never wants to hurt anybody. The only time she's hurting someone is to protect someone else. Like it's more like a breaking up the fight tactic than like we need to kill them because they're killing other people. Like she just doesn't believe in that at all.
See, it sounds like Cooter needs some sort of like club, like a whacking stick where it's bludgeoning. So if you
maybe we can pick one up.
Because bludgeoning, if you knock somebody out with bludgeoning, they can like not be dead. You can
if you knock someone down with a melee weapon, you can choose to make it non-lethal and just knock them out.
Yeah.
I can do that with unarmed strike. She can just punch people in the back of the head.
But you can even like turn your sickle around and hit them with the handle of it and have it be bludgeoning.
Thanks.
Yeah,
So if you give Cooter like a baseball bat and just be like bonk.
Just start bonking people.
Oh, I'm gonna get Deck and Kane all up on these people.
Amazing. So curious to what you all think, because now you've kind of done a favor for Saria, for you all, and her being a priestess, with her kind of taking you all to her boss. Like how do your character specifically feel about working for the divine side of the house here, for like the Church of the Lightsmith? I mean, you don't really know what jobs you're gonna have offered to you, but how do your characters feel about that?
Kuda's internally kind of hating it. I think there is like, just the thing is, she knows so much about religion. She has so much knowledge about these things, but that doesn't mean that it's something that she necessarily agrees with, like the way that they've been running things and whatever's been going on. But I would be curious to find out like how much she knows about this specific group, because that's the thing, is it's always like I know she knows a lot, but I don't know specifically what she knows until we approach a situation where I can find that out. But with religion being like nature and religion are like her
jam.
Yeah, her knowledge bases of it. Like she knows how to survive. She knows like stuff about nature. She knows stuff about all of the religion stuff. She knows stuff about medicine. But it's interesting how every time there's a potential for her to shine in those areas, she falls on her face. So people don't think she's as capable as she really is. Like with the fishing rod.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're out in the wilderness. I mean, yeah, you might be able to rig something together, but it's also hilarious that it kind of failed spectacularly.
It was a perfect, like, that's the stuff of like playing this game though. Like the amount of times that I would completely fail on a roll that just leads to some ridiculous, like, funny moment, like just some like comedy, or like get a natural 20 when it's the least necessary moment, like catching a fish.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's just my style. I seem to do that all the time, and I don't know why. I wish I could harness that power, but alas.
I always feel like in most cases in D&D and any other like collaborative story game, I feel like failure always tells a much better story than success does. Like, I think you need that adversity and that failure to kind of really get those juicy like story moments for a character. Because if you succeed, yeah, it happens and everyone's happy. But I think that's where the real fun happens when you fail at things.
The more times you fail, the one time it does succeed and you get to shine, and everyone's like, "Wow, I had no idea."
Yeah,
huge
for
payoff.
Sure. So Hayden. Hayden, he's been around the islands some. He's still young, like, but due to sort of like his, I guess, career path, he's been around, and so he's mingled with people like this. Like, obviously, he knows Saria. He kind of looks past a little bit their occupation or I guess what they represent more. He doesn't take much stock in like the divine necessarily. He's not really a believer himself, although he I guess still respects some people that do. And it is kind of the law of the land. Divine magics, natural magics kind of run the show. He's grown up knowing that. He is very much integrated into that society, but he doesn't worship himself. He doesn't have a particular deity that he prays to, but he knows these people, and I think for the most part, he doesn't agree with everything that's happening in this given area where we are. And again, because as part of what he does, he's also met people on the other side of things. Taj and Azric aren't the first magic people he's met before. And so he realizes that the way that things are painted, sort of with a broad brush, he knows not everybody that casts arcane magic is bad. And just like he knows that not everybody that believes in like the divine or is a clergy or not all of them are like righteous. So he sits somewhere kind of in the middle of it. He chooses to focus on individuality and what he can discern from an individual more than like if they believe in a god or don't, or if they are arcane users or not. So that's kind of where he's at. He's used to these sort of divine folks.
It's also a sort of a weird thing in D&D, because like when you say like believe, like in the world of like D&D, in this world, it's like, yeah, like there are gods, like they give people power and they're actual like beings and stuff. It's also weird to say like, yeah, you know that they're there, but you just choose not to revere them, kind of thing.
He's never been pushed to worship. Like, his upbringing, where he's from has a patron deity, but his like upbringing, it wasn't really forced to do that, forced to like worship or anything. So he kind of recognizes that people do, but doesn't really do it himself. So that's where he's at. He's kind of in the middle.
It's kind of interesting that you all are sort of kind of getting like a little taste of like, you know, how the world works, and like you have these different sort of groups of people with like people that believe in like the pantheon and the divine that are like in direct opposition, people that just can cast, you know, arcane spells, and you have these different sides. And then what's kind of, you know, a mystery at this point are like people like Emmy, whose power doesn't come from divine or arcane at all. So I think it's interesting. The more you all kind of get into the world and get in the sandbox to see like where those lines really are. So I think it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to how our party dynamic grows from here, because we're all still very much strangers to each other. So there's things that everybody's clearly keeping from one another. It's like surface level at this point. We know everybody's hiding something, but
yeah, and
things get revealed. Do they ever get revealed? You know, how will those things like, you know,
and
how will those things play out? You know,
the longer we go on, the more that will be revealed. So thanks for watching this episode of Out of Combat for episode 3, up to episode 3, I should say, of campaign 2. So come back, watch us on Fridays to watch us live on the episodes, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.